Hi there, I'm Zoe. I'm an illustrator, author and designer, and one of the things I really like to do is create colouring in designs. And with this in mind, Colouring Heaven magazine asked if I'd like to create a colouring in tutorial for you all. So I've decided to show you how to colour part of one of the images I created for Colouring Heaven magazine's Halloween special. Now this is issue number 54, where I collaborated with some other artists, and there are some beautiful designs in here. I created a series of potions images, so they're little shells filled with potions, and there's some magical creatures and all sorts of things hiding in there. And the potion we're going to concentrate on today is this Stardust potion in the corner. And we're going to have a bit of fun with it and add some creative embellishments and things in too. Now, if you know my work well, you know that I love intricate line and lots of details, and I love colour as well. And if you look behind me, this is actually how the design started out life. I decided I wanted to create a puzzle design, and in January of this year, Ravensburger actually published it as a 2,000-piece puzzle, which was amazing. So if you look at the design behind, you can see the full image, which I sort of transferred to black and white line for a colouring in sheet for you all. So you might get, the Stardust potion is right up here, so you might get a bit of inspiration from that. So what we will need for this tutorial is I just have some straightforward colouring pencils. So I have a box of Doe and Academy pencils, a 36 pack. And I also have some Faber and Castle pencils, which I've had for ages. And the combination of colours in these boxes is really quite nice, so they'll be great. You'll obviously need your issue 54 of Colouring Heaven magazine, the Halloween special. You'll also need some blank sheets of A4 paper. And the fun bit, you will also need some gold metallic bronze ink, and this is from Winsor and Newton, and a paintbrush. And I think that's us all set. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we're all ready to go. I've got my image ready. I've actually put some A4 paper underneath the page that I'm working on, just so I don't mark the page underneath, or if any of the colour bleeds onto the underneath page as well. The other thing I've done is I've just tested out the colours that I want to use, because sometimes I find that the colours on the ends of the pencils don't really match what comes out when you put it down on paper. So it's just good to check, and it helps me work out what colours I want to use. So we're going to make a start on the potion bottle. So I think we'll start with putting in the dark, I'm going to have a nice dark blue background against my stars, so we'll start working on that first. And the other thing to mention is I will have a light. I'm imagining a light source coming in from this direction. So I'm going to think about that when I'm putting down my colour as well. So I want to start off with a nice dark blue and probably a purple as well, but we'll start with the blue. This is actually the Doe and Academy dark blue, so nice sharp point because it's quite detailed. I'm just going to start filling in the colour a little bit. Just so it's not too much of one colour, we're going to kind of blend other colours into it. So I've got that one, and I think I might try this ultramarine as well. That's a nice dark one too. Just blending the blues into each other. I suppose it's a bit like a galaxy in a bottle. I want to kind of think about that kind of effect. I'm not pressing too hard, just varying the pressure from light to dark so that it gives it a bit of interest. Let's try a bit of purple. Try the purple up here. just leaving the neck of the bottle slightly lighter on the right hand side because there's a little bit of light coming in there. I haven't really worried about it too much through here because I wanted it quite nice and dark, so the all the stars stand out quite nicely. I think they're just about there. The other thing that might work quite nicely with this is actually using watercolour pencils. You might just get a little bit more vibrancy and mix the colours a little better. But it still looks quite nice like this. Right. So I think we'll do the outer part of the bottle next. So we're going to use the same colours. But just go a little bit lighter on the outside, and we'll mix the colours together again. And I'm going to leave this bit a bit lighter still, because that's where more light is coming in. And the stopper is glass as well, so that needs to be the blues and purples again too. So we'll just blend those in again, leaving a little bit lighter on this side. Nice and dark down here. A bit of purple. Going a bit lighter here. Just makes it look a little bit more 3D and then round as well, because it's a round stopper on the top. So almost sort of leaving that bit white really. I think that'll do. Right, so I think we'll move on to the Stardust label now. I want the lettering to just look like it's ink. So I'm just going to use my black colouring pencil and do that outline first. Nice and dark, so I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on. I find that the Faber & Castle ones are a little bit more intense, so this one's quite good for that. And a nice sharp point, so that nice and dark as well. And on another note, I don't actually use black very much except for outlines and lettering. I do all my pen and ink outlines in black obviously, but when I'm doing my colour work I very rarely use black. I find it kind of deadens it a little bit because nothing is truly black. I have a tendency to use more of a, if I'm doing a dark area, use a really dark blue or a brown for the shadows. I guess that's a bit of a tip for you. Right, that's looking nice and dark. So the label, we want it to look kind of oldie worldy and stained and dark, as if it's been around. That bottle's been on the shelf for a really long time. So I'm going to start off with a really light what's this? Well, it's actually just a cream. And I'm going to start in the middle of the label. In fact, you can barely see it, but it is there. I'm just going to go around the middle. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to go even lighter here and just stop it before it gets to the edge. And then we're going to choose, I think this one, which is this one here. And we're just going to come in at the end, start at the edges and work our way in. So darker at the edges and fading it into the middle of the label. And I'll just keep working into it until I'm kind of happy with how it's. So that's giving it that old looking effect already. Okay, I'm going to go for this darker colour and just bring a little bit more variation to the corners. Darker in the corners. And the edges. I'm pressing quite hard here just to get it to come through the other colours. You can see it's blending in. Okay, and I'm just going to take a really dark brown. Kind of cross hatch some extra lines, make it look a bit scratchy. Even bring it a little bit into the light bit. It's a bit more, if the paper's a bit marked. It's had sort of dirty fingers on it and a little bit of a life. I don't want to overwork it. You kind of have to know when to stop, which isn't always easy. I think about 2 minutes. Right, okay, so this is kind of my favourite bit, and that's doing the stars. So we're just going to vary the colours. We're going to go for a lot lighter colours. So we've got our cream. We'll go for this kind of blue, I think, and a grey, and see how they go. Quite hard to see when being with this one because it is such a pale colour. I think some of these stars will stand out quite nicely. Alternating the colours. I think we'll go for a nice bright yellow for some of the stars as well. Okay, I think we've got most of them now. Okay, so now we've got the really fun bit left, which is the gold ink. So it's quite tricky to work with. It's Winsor & Newton, and it's actually a metallic bronze, but it is a gold. So you have to give it a really, really good stir and a shake, because all the good bits stick to the bottom and it goes a bit wishy-washy at the top. So we're basically just going to pick out some stars and highlight some areas with so just embellish it a little bit. Can't not have sparkly stars. So I've got a really long pointy brush. Now with this you need to make sure you get rid of the excess, because it will dribble and run because it's very thin. So you barely want anything on your brush at all. And we're just going to pick out the odd star. So you just dab it on really, really gently. You don't want it to blot. It is ink. You want to just pick out the odd star. I love the bits like this, they're always my favourite. I love finishing touches. Do a bigger one there. You don't want to do too many, maybe just 5 or 6 and done. Do one over there, do another one on this side. And leave that yellow one because it's quite nice and bright. I think that'll do. I might just pick out just a few highlights along this side. I'm just sort of gently dabbing it on, really. And whatever you do, keep hold of your bottle, because the amount of times I've spilt ink over things. I'm just going to pick out a little bit of highlights on the label as well, just around that top edge. Maybe down here a little bit. Maybe even just a little bit on the lettering. It's going to stand out really nicely against the black, you see. Just down some of the thicker parts of the lettering. You don't want to go overboard. Less is more. And I think that's it. We're all finished.